everybody, this is Gabriela of CNA Yoga, and thank you so much for being here for the next video in my meditation series. So just to recap a little bit, the first video we talked about what meditation is, who should meditate, and why you should meditate. In the second video, we talked a little bit about where you should meditate and when you should meditate. So the next question becomes, so Gabriela, how long am I supposed to meditate for? And there's an infinite range of answers to that, right? I have read some books that say that you should start a meditation practice for 20 minutes. And honestly, that was a very big challenge. I had to build up to 20 minutes at a time. And that's after going through yoga teacher trainings and meditating for days and days on end. So if you're able to meditate for that long in your first sitting, fantastic. More power to you. But I also want to set the more realistic expectation that it might not be possible to actually sit down, quiet your mind, empty your thoughts on the first go for a full 20 minutes. So, how long should you meditate for, right? Now, this is my Kundalini Yoga Level 1 manual, and it's got some really powerful information. So, as you know, I'm a Kundalini Yoga instructor, and I'm also taking a second teacher training at the moment in non-Kundalini Yoga lineage, so I'm really excited about that. And in Kundalini Yoga, there's very precise timing for things. And so my logical brain really loves this because it makes me feel like I get it. Okay, if I meditate for this long, these are the benefits. If I meditate for this long, these are the benefits. And not only that, like the benefits are fantastic, of course, but then it also helps you gauge like in your day, maybe on the weekend, you'll be able to meditate a little bit longer. Whereas during the week, you might have to meditate while your coffee is brewing in the morning before the chaos ensues, right? So the most important thing is to meditate a little bit every single day if you can. So I'm going to read this because again, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. And this comes from the KRI Level 1 Instructor textbook. So if you meditate for 3 minutes a day, the meditation starts to affect the electromagnetic field, the circulation, and the stability of the blood. If you meditate for 7 minutes a day, the brain wave patterns start to change, and the aura, or the electromagnetic field, gets strengthened. So that's 3 minutes and 7 minutes, okay? Now, if you can start to move up into that 11-minute bracket, 11 minutes of meditation begins to change the nerves and the glandular system, and it also strengthens your nervous system. And that's a beautiful thing because we want a strong nervous system so that we can ride the waves of the ups and downs, right? So 11 minutes, you strengthen your nervous system. 22 minutes, you start to balance the three minds, and the three minds are positive, negative, and neutral, and they start to work together, which is beautiful because you want to make sure that you're kind of in the middle as opposed to always on either extreme. After 31 minutes, it allows the glands, the breath, and the concentration to affect all the cells and rhythms of the body, and it lets the psyche of the meditation affect all these layers of the mind and the mind's projections and what's called the gunas and the tattvas, which is a little bit more yogi speak. But the point is that it really starts to change the rhythm of the body after 31 minutes. After 62 minutes, so an hour and 2 minutes, you really start to change the gray matter of the brain. So that whole concept that you cannot teach an old dog new tricks, you can through meditation. And again, 62 minutes is, you're going deep into meditation, you're setting the time aside, you're probably very experienced in it. It may not be something that you can achieve, day 1 or even day 100. So there's another thing too here is that it starts to play with the shadow mind. So these negative aspects that we think, it starts to kind of balance all of that out. After 2.5 hours, yes, 2.5 hours, it starts to change the psyche in its correlation with the surrounding magnetic field so that the subconscious mind is held firmly in the new pattern by the surrounding universal mind. No idea necessarily what that says. But what I believe it says is that you really just kind of go off into a whole other world. You really start to change the patterns. You really start to ingrain those into your being. And you really start to feel that beautiful I am connection, that one connection, that consciousness, that collective consciousness. So 2.5 hours, again, is also a very deep, very intense practice. I would want to suggest that maybe you do that like with an experienced meditation teacher or somebody that can guide you. I'm not saying it's dangerous, just that, you really need to cultivate a strong meditation practice in order to get to the point of meditating for 2.5 hours. So the time periods are 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 11, 22, 31, 62, or 2.5 hours. Next, you want to know, okay, I'm meditating for 3 minutes a day. So how long do I do this? Do I do this forever? Sure, if you want to, but I'm also going to give you a little bit of sort of feedback on what happens when you meditate for a certain number of days. So say you've selected a 3-minute meditation, you're getting started. If you commit to 40 days of that meditation, you're going to start to change habits. Once you push that to 90 days, you're going to start to confirm that habit that you're trying to change. 120 days, the habit becomes who you are. And in 1,000 days, you've mastered that new habit. So you're going to say, oh my gosh, 1,000 days mastering the new habit. We master new habits all the time. It's just a lot of those we don't even think about it. Think about walking. Think about brushing your teeth. Think about tying your shoes. Think about any new skill that you learned. Think about going to school for a trade or a profession. And when you walked in, you didn't know anything. But then after 40 days, you kind of started to develop a new habit, 90, and then after 1,000 of doing that thing, you've mastered what you're doing. So again, 40 days, 90 days, 120 days, or 1,000 days. And as you start to figure out what you want to do, just recognize that, let's just say maybe one day you're doing 3 minutes of meditation and you're feeling good with that. And then the next day you're like, I want to go a little bit further and just see where you naturally stop. And then just recognize that the goal really is to try and bring some kind of meditation into your life every single day. And so if you can meditate, every single day for 22 minutes, amazing. But there might be a day where you really can't do that and you can do 3 to 7 minutes. So thank you so much for your time today. I'm grateful for your presence here and your desire to learn a little bit more about meditation. And keep watching. Hit subscribe if you want to. My kids have been watching a ton of YouTube videos and they all say that. Hit subscribe below. So hit subscribe if you want to. And keep out for a few more videos on meditation. And I always welcome any suggestions you may have on anything you may want to know. Thanks so much. Bye.